I do think that a big part of teaching music is giving people a chance to play music and play with music. However, people don't have access to the whole of music from day one. What I think this offers an interesting perspective into is the whole of music. Mathematics, physics, history, geography, the human body, language, spelling, syntax. One thing I've come to realize is that a lot of the same forces that make music work are the forces that make life work. By the time I was about 7 years old, I was recording music with software from home. Technology was already at a pace that was a little dizzying in a positive sense for ideas. Oh, there appears to be this tool. Oh, I'll use it then. I kind of embraced all of them as a child. I think the parts that were most interesting to me were the parts that reminded me of my own awakeness as a person. I've spent the last, almost 30 years finding improbable sonic collisions. There were some fairly brilliant Google engineers who were designing and building a bunch of interesting music AI. The one I was most interested in immediately was this idea of MusicFX DJ. You kind of like craft this real-time sonic putty that's endlessly kind of surprising.
That's good.
And essentially seeks to sort of alchemize or forge connections between things that would otherwise be unlikely.
You can input text, some description of music, and you're getting back a musical experience in real time. It gives you this ability to mix different descriptions of what you want, whether it's like a genre or like a vibe or a sound.
Can you put a banjo in a dubstep drop?
This isn't a replacement for traditional musical instruments. It's more a new type of musical instrument.
I'm being invited to contribute something, which is always a welcome scenario as a creative person.
It makes you feel like you're part of the music-making process.
The system itself is trained to play music and then respond to your conduction, but also respond to the music that it itself has output. You get to say, no, go more in this direction, add in these types of instruments, change this genre, be much more loud and intense, or actually play very long, soft notes. So there's this ever-evolving improvisation.
Originally gave you the model, you'd put in these things and it would just play like a weird song or something, which is cool too.
Really interpretive.
But now it's actually understanding.
Be less cowbell, more cowbell. So if I start improvising, and throw in something new, right? The joy of improvisation is I'm also in the audience. I'm also watching what's coming out. I'm not trying to control it too much, and I can make choices based on what happens and what comes out, what's inspiring me at any given time. It's trusting the first thought that comes into your mind. Oh, I'll go here. Yeah, I'll go here. I'll go here. It's a similar process when I'm prompting something into existence, It's a continuous form that's consistently creating things you've never experienced before. I mean, it's an amazing premise. How to begin the process of imagining the world your idea is in, with this exact technology. What am I dreaming up today? And that's always a good first question with anything you make. You answering that question, it gives you access to a kind of flow. And once you're in the flow, then you're off, you're going.
Jacob brought a desire to be surprised by different sounds.
He really helped us to realize and appreciate how deeply musical you can treat environmental sounds.
Sometimes if you ask a sound database to give you an exact sound, it's too familiar to inspire you to stay on the edge of yourself. The ultimate space to me is the space between what you know and what you don't know, and this just straddles that. You can stumble across something that's just bizarre and strange and is brand new.
I think there's a real intentionality to bring people into a musical space and for everyone to have like a collaborative music experience. Jacob's been doing that with his tour where he's like having the audience sing.
I deeply believe that everybody can contribute something.
The goal here is really to make the experience of live music more accessible to more people. And hopefully it just starts you on a musical journey. Jacob really wants to push the boundaries of music and technology, not just for himself, but for humanity.
I'm excited at something that could, I think in time, lend itself to a really rich co-creation ground. Most of what stops people creating is not actually a lack of skill or knowledge. I would say the first thing that is, you could say, lacking is permission to give something a try. Go is the word. Just go.